It's December 1988 and the world is changing. America and Europe have been connected by an internet. Thanks to the film Wall Street, sales of braces and Filofax have gone through the roof. People are drinking wine in bars. Wine bars, they're called. And Only Fools and Horses has been extended from half an hour to 50 minutes. In Shepherd's Bush, a studio audience is waiting to watch the first episode of the new series. And with its new longer running time, the show's under pressure to deliver some really big laughs.
The shows were getting bigger and bigger, and getting a ticket to go and watch Only Fools and Horses was like getting a cup final ticket. It really was.
This is a ticket that the audience would have got. They got in for free.
They wanted to be there, and they bought in completely to the show.
It's just a great atmosphere, all down to the warm-up man, I might add. So...
we all love a warm-up man, but what this very lucky audience don't know is that they're about to witness a scene which would regularly be voted one of the greatest TV moments of all time.
The rehearsal was in the afternoon, and I remember David doing it, going over and doing it. And I remember Tony coming down and saying, right, can we do that again? And I seem to remember David saying, no, we're not going to do it again, we'll do it tonight. Because, you know, he wanted to keep it fresh.
And, of course, we knew what was coming. But, of course, the audience didn't. And when you're working on a Fisher Boom, you're quite high up above the set. And we were all just waiting for this. I can still remember just waiting for this particular stunt to happen, knowing that the audience would just fall apart.
With some...
The biggest laughs. I've never heard a laugh like that at the BBC. I've never heard a laugh like it.
The way in which he fell... unflinching, straight down.
It's amazing. It's timing.
He bumped into Roger Lloyd Pack by chance at the rehearsal studio that he was written in.
The original script for Yuppie Love, David Jason's standing at the bar by himself. And because Roger Lloyd Pack was in another production at the BBC at the time, he was appearing in another programme, and he just happened to be around, he was quickly written into that scene. And it works so well, because suddenly there's this great reaction shot.
Del and Trigger's trip to the wine bar was all because of Del's new image. Only Fools was moving with the times, and Del had become a yuppie. Well, on the surface, at least.
No, I mean, it is. I mean, it's the little things, you know. It's like me aluminium briefcase there, my Mercedes keyring, my Filofax. When people see these things, they know exactly what I am.
It is a bit of a giveaway, isn't it?
One of the great things about the organic growth of Fools and Horses was John was able to weave in social trends, and so you had the yuppies.
Now, in the 80s, you can talk about how much money you make, which as an American, I thought, well, I mean, wasn't that okay with everybody? But it wasn't. You can talk about your house, how much it costs. You can talk about your car, how much you paid for it. You can talk about your clothes. You can talk about your job. That was not done in Britain before.
John Sullivan liked to bring in topical things when he could, when he thought it would be relevant and it would work, that would reflect very much 1980s Britain.
He writes modern history into his scripts and wrote comedy around how his characters would react to this new political crisis or fad or fashion.
But bringing in topical themes and contemporary fads also meant that our own lives seemed to be moving in parallel with the characters. Not something that usually happens in a sitcom.
I think Only Fools and Horses actually went beyond its genre in a way that it ceased just to be a sitcom, certainly in a conventional sense, because as the saying goes in sitcoms, what you do is you nail the characters' feet to the floor and you don't make them change. John Sullivan, and I think the cast to some extent, wanted to grow. And so the show really becomes a kind of hybrid between a sitcom and a soap. It became a kind of life story, as dramatic as it was comic, with all the complexity that comes with it.
As director Tony Dow explained insightfully in a 2002 documentary, it was the development of John Sullivan's writing itself which drove the change from pure sitcom to something bigger.
One of the defining moments of Fools and Horses that was when John realised that he always had the ability to make people laugh, but he probably then realised he had the ability to make people cry.
One of the things about John's writing is that you can go from circuses to funerals in less than half a page.
It wasn't just that they could get laughs. A lot of the time, it was very lump-in-throat stuff.
suddenly there's a moment where their world comes crashing down.
I mean, Rodney, he could touch people's hearts, couldn't he? I mean, the whole story of Cassandra and the miscarriage was heartbreaking.
Because that's life. Do you know what I mean? It can't just all be, you know, comedy. And that's good writing. When you can bridge it with some real poignancy and stuff that really gets you, like that show does.
Few of us would disagree that Only Fools and Horses is an absolute sitcom classic.
Some of the best acting in British TV was in that sitcom.
But its big secret is that it wasn't just a sitcom, it was part of our lives.
I think that's why people go on being so fond of it, because we have all grown up together.
It's so accessible to everybody and what they've lived through.
It was a show commissioned on a wing and a prayer, which ducked and dived its way into our hearts and became part of the family.
The audience felt like they knew Del, they knew Rodney, they knew Boise, they knew all the characters.
It became a national institution, something that became part of our culture.
It's an authentic record of Britain at the time, not to mention a truly quality piece of merchandise. Bonjour.